Well, that's that fabulous insert, I think, really giving us a background look at what happens at SA Fashion Week, and it really looks fabulous. So the glamorously furious South African Fashion Week started on the 18th of March at the Rosebank Crown Plaza. Although this chic event is well known for celebrity appearances, there's the paparazzi, there's the haute couture, the long ramps, gorgeous models. It's also a major contributor of employment and a sterling opportunity for creative designers, I should say, to share their talent. Well, today we're joined in studio by Founder Lucilla Booyzen to tell us a little bit more about this. Good to see you again. Welcome to Morning Live.
Yeah.
It's always a highlight to see you coming in, because we get to discuss how we've evolved over the year since the last Fashion Week has been. And tell me exactly that. What's it looking like this year?
Well, I think that we are seeing a lot of originality. You know, that is a big thing now. A designer have to be original. They have to sell to stores. They have to create desirable labels that people want to buy. Because, you know, it's one thing saying buy South African designers, if the and another thing for a designer to create desirable clothes that the consumer in South Africa really wants to wear. And I think that we've really reached that. At the South African Fashion Week. We are this season showing 45 designers, 12 from Cape Town, 8 from Durban, and they are all either supplying stores or they have their own store. So we've really grown an enormous amount since a year or 2 years ago.
Wow, that's almost unheard of if you look back 10 years.
No,
it's almost unheard of that you could have a fashion show with 45 fashion designers that have a standalone store or are supplying stores.
And playing a role in retail in South Africa.
Amazing.
You know, it really is. I'm so proud of them, and they've come a long way, and it's not easy.
No, it's
in
not.
South Africa. Retail is not easy. You know, full stop.
No, it isn't. You could ask me that question. I can tell you all about retail, and it's a very difficult industry to be in. Never mind in a clothing industry where you have got imported clothing to compete with that can be a lot cheaper to manufacture, to bring in. But really, you're not supporting this industry if you do that. And I mean, just to see the talent that's coming through is unbelievable. Have you got some new upcoming designers that are doing well?
Yes, we've got a whole group of Cape Town designers, you know, new designers from Cape Town, and it's the first time that they've showed it at Fashion Week. And I'm talking about people like Shirt and Company, non-European Hannah, Michelle Ludik, and we've got Ilan, of course. So yes, Cape Town is absolutely supporting and being here, and I think that they do recognize that the South African Fashion Week is the marketing platform for them. You know, overseas you'll find that the designers are showing their collections at the Fashion Week every single season. They don't stay out for a season. And I mean, people like Black Coffee says that if he doesn't show at Fashion Week, his sales drops with 50%. So to give you an idea of the strength of the social media, on our first night, which was the 18th, we had 10,000 tweets on one night for 4 shows. So there's really the consumers interested in buying, interested in looking, and interested in wanting to play a part in this fantastic, magical, creative fashion design industry.
Who attends Fashion Week? You know, you look there, and obviously there's the wonderful celebrities sitting in the front row, but those aren't necessarily the buyers. Who is it really aimed at?
Well, the South African Fashion Week is a business-to-business platform, essentially. So we have the media, about 120 media filling the front rows. We have the buyers, so you know that on Saturday we have the buyers lounge. So we have up to 40 buyers for every show, sitting in every show and buying. And then, of course, the top clients of the designers. And we do release some tickets to Computicket, just purely because we want to say to the consumer, if you want to attend a Sun Goddess show or Lufthansa First Best show, or you know we've got Marvel, which I'll tell you about later, you can also go and buy a ticket. It's not so exclusive that you have to know somebody.
Yeah, good. I mean, it's important.
Yeah, I think it's very important
that the public have access to see exactly what goes on there. Has it become an international of an international caliber where you actually attract buyers from overseas to come and have a look?
I think we've attracted a lot of international interest. I mean, literally, wherever I go, everybody knows about the South African Fashion Week. I think it'll take quite a time for us to sort of reach that standard where we can supply, because we have to build the whole value chain.
Yeah.
At the moment we're building from the top down, we should really build from the bottom up. In order to be able to support a designer should they get an international order. And I think we're not far away from it, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, we have seen some of our designers that are making inroads overseas.
Yes.
Just to name David Tlale as
yes,
one.
Absolutely.
He's often showcasing in New York.
Yes.
He's trying to make it overseas. It is very difficult, though.
The thing is that you need to have a studio overseas.
Indeed.
You need to be there. It's very difficult,
Yeah.
and that's why our policy at the South African Fashion Week is to build to build here,
yes,
our level here, our platform here, because a designer can create huge amounts of jobs right here in South Africa, and then we are also encouraging the designers to look at Africa because it's the closest to us. They identify with us, and we love the same sort of fashion. So yes, really our focus is on building in South Africa, and then the designers will automatically grow into supplying internationally. But Clive at the moment is exporting to America, and that is, but he's really exporting volumes.
That's amazing.
So,
Clive Rundle.
Yes, yes, absolutely. His whole studio was taken by Anne Chappell to Antwerp 2 years ago, and they all do master sewing now at the moment. And therefore, can you see that whole support of building the value chain?
Brilliant.
Then allows a designer to be able to start exporting volumes, because it doesn't help you to just export 2 garments here and 3 garments there. You have to really export volumes in order to play a game on the international platform.
It's got to be worth your while. It really has to be worth your while.
Exactly.
You talk about the continent, though, and I mean that is to tap into the African continent is massive. The potential there is huge. Have we done that? Have some of our local designers really moved into the African continent and found business opportunities
Exactly.
there?
But what is happening at the moment is, until the African countries don't have shopping centres, it's very difficult to enter that market, because it goes then by word of mouth. You show and maybe you get pick up a few sales here. They really need to build their shopping centres and their stores, and the moment that happens, nothing will stop any fashion designer to supply anywhere in Africa. We're all very open. I'm working with all the fashion weeks in Africa, and all the communication is completely open. At the moment, we have 4 or 5 African designers showing at the South African Fashion Week, and we are going to represent them so that they can sell in South Africa. And that's what you need. You need to be able. You can't just do a fashion show in another country. If there is no agent lined up, if there's no studio lined up, then what is the use? You can just as well pay for your trip and go and see the sites, because it's the same thing.
I like the moral of this interview. It really is to tap into our home, and that is South Africa, into our people here, and buy into our fashion. I know that there is a great movement right now by our youth, our unions here. I think it's our Clothing and Textile Union. I may be a little bit mistaken. It's something that I've heard, that they're trying to bring in a campaign that says, check your label.
Yeah, very
to
important.
Say, make sure it is made in South Africa. Please support South Africa.
It's incredible, and that it's become a world checking. Check your label, see where it's made, under which circumstances these clothing lines are manufactured. I think it's a consciousness, and I think consciousness is so important on every level. You have to be conscious these days as a citizen of a country, where you buy, what you eat, what you wear, on all levels. So we're very happy about that.
Fantastic. I must say, it is wherever I've traveled in the world, it's also, people do get very offended if it's not locally produced, and we got to be as offended. And that's why, if you do support South African fashion, and I hope you do, get down to the South African Fashion Week. There's actually today and tomorrow left. That's
today and tomorrow, yes.
And that's, who can we catch today? I know you've got the
Well,
schedule
today,
in front of you.
Sun Goddess Sober, Mancho, and Mancho is fantastic, of course. And then we've got Air. Olo's daughter from Cape Town. I mean, what a fabulous name. Lalesso and Wake.
Yeah.
And then the Lufthansa First Best. Now, the winner of that goes to the Berlin Fashion Week with us, on a seminar, on a traveling seminar.
Right.
And then we've got the Cape Town crowd.
Excellent.
Bodhisattva, all those people. And then tomorrow we've got the Marvel.
Okay.
So, part of the Avengers was shot in Johannesburg.
Yes,
So
yes.
they got that. We launched a competition in 5 African countries and in South Africa for designers to design their collection that can be sold. So it's not a costume collection, inspired by the characters.
Wonderful.
So we're really
That's
looking
gonna
forward.
be fun.
It's magical, absolutely
that is going
magical.
to be fun.
Yes,
A very different spin on Human Rights Day.
No,
to say the least.
absolutely.
All in between live trees on
Exactly.
stage. Okay, it's always a pleasure speaking to you. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoy our conversations.
Thank you,
Lucilla Booyzen, who's the founder of South African Fashion Week. It started on the 18th of March, and it is today and tomorrow, and then it comes to an end. So visit CompuTicket if you'd like to attend any of the shows. All right, before we